Happy Wednesday once again. This is Frank Rock. This is your Everything Vols channel, the House of Orange Sports channel. Tennessee basketball. Hadn't brought anything Tennessee basketball wise here in a bit, but today the dead period for recruiting or visits was lifted as Tennessee has hosted some visitors here recently on campus, and I'll get into that here in just a moment. But Tennessee was out on the road today. Tennessee has some big visits coming up over about the next month and a half that's going to help hopefully shape this class for 2025. Before we get into that, make sure you thumbs up this thing. Biggest thing to help out, again, sharing it out. And then if you have not already, we're now 75 away from 2,000. Make sure if you like the content, you like what's coming at you, that you subscribe to the channel for notifications, updates, as especially basketball just around the corner, football getting into high gear. This thing's going to be wide open. This channel is wide open for the next 9 months for sure. But Tennessee basketball, Rick Barnes and staff. So they're on the trail. They're trying to fill this class. You got to think in regard to next year. So they have the one commitment right now, which is Dwayne Brown, center, Alabama. Now, I've seen some speculation that his development's not going as expected right now. And it makes me wonder with some of these visitors coming in, where they go with this. He's the only commitment for 2025. But if you look at Tennessee's roster as to whom they lose, who we know they lose for sure. Darlington Dubar, fifth-year senior. Jordan Gainey is a senior. Chaz Lanier, fifth-year senior. Jemai Mashak, a senior. Igor Milicic Jr. is a senior. Zakai Ziegler is a senior. That's 6 of basically your top 8 guys in this rotation who will be seniors this offseason. And plus, you're already 2 roster spots short, which I don't think will affect them that much this year. But Tennessee's going into, if they don't have any defections, if they don't have anybody leave early after this coming season, they'll have up to 8 roster spots available. Now, will they hit the portal for that? Yes. They'll hit the portal. They're hitting the portal each year now. But I don't think they can realistically go and bring in 6 to 8 guys from the portal. You're still going to have to build your roster through recruiting. You're still going to have to do that just to have that base in place, because as it stands right now, again, if no one leaves, you'll have Bishop Boswell, who's a true freshman out of Charlotte, coming in. You're going to have J.P. Estrella, he'll be a sophomore this year. You're going to have Felix Okpara, the transfer from Ohio State, who's a junior this year. Cade Phillips, sophomore out of Alabama, forward as well. So your big needs are going to be at the guard spot. And, we've seen there's been some publications, some speculation out there about Cam Carr could be, a lottery pick this year. I don't know that happens. I really don't. I'm curious to see what kind of niche he carves out in this. But Cam Carr will play, and he may have his nights. But overall, I'll be interested to see what he does this year. There's a lot of buzz about him after going to the Jason Tatum Elite Camp this summer, that he showed out well there, as that was an invitation only to wings around the country. There is hype around Cameron Carr. I feel like it was, I think it was Rod Clark met with the media here just a little while back, and I felt like he kind of threw a little bit of water on the Cam Carr hype. Maybe it was Justin Gainey that did. It was one of the two that did it. They didn't really. They're happy with him. They're happy with what he's doing. They're happy with his potential. But I really felt like they kind of were saying, "Hey, let's calm this down and let him develop a little bit. Let's not rush him to the lottery just yet," basically. But with Tennessee's recruiting coming up, so as of right now, they have hosted Amari Evans, who's a shooting guard, Dante Allen, a shooting guard. I think Evans is more of a combo guard, actually. And so they've hosted both of those guys recently. From what I've read, it seems like Tennessee's in a pretty good spot for Evans, but he is taking more visits. Ole Miss, Xavier, I've seen that a long way. Dante Allen is a guard out of Florida. And it seems that what little I've seen, based on both visits, Tennessee made good impressions with them. So now we turn to some the big boys, so to speak. So it was announced yesterday, Chris Senak, one of the top 5 players in America. He's a center or a power forward, depending on how you look at it. He is scheduled to visit next weekend, 9/14, for the Kent State game. They're scheduled right now to host Senak, 3-star combo guard Josiah Sanders out of Colorado, and another top 25 star in Darius Adams out of Indiana. It's a big weekend for Tennessee in terms of, who they host along the way. Right now, Senak, he's from New Orleans. He attends Link Academy in Missouri. I'm pretty sure that's where Kennedy Chandler came from. And it seems that Rod Clark has some ties in Link Academy. Or no, I'm thinking of Sunshine Academy is where Kennedy Chandler coming from. Rod Clark it's Cam Carr, I believe, came from Link Academy. But Senak, he's down to a top 12 right now. This seems to be the new thing, the top 12, in that he's ranked, according to On3, number 5 player overall, number 2 power forward, 6'10", 210 coming in. And I think it's pretty interesting because, again, if guys don't leave, if things stay the same, you would have Akpara back next year. You have J.P. Estrella back. You have Cade Phillips back. And if Dwayne Brown out of Alabama, if he stays in this class coming in, that's 4 bigs. But they're swinging for the fences here on this one. Senak could be a big one for them. Now, Caleb Wilson's another one. I know it's one. He's top 10 as well. It's a guy. Ben McKee, an article today, says Caleb Wilson is visiting the weekend, the Florida game, October 12th. I've not seen that anywhere else as of yet. And I'm not disputing what he's saying. That was the first I'd seen of it today, as they'll host. And they're also, so when Tennessee was out on the trail today, they visited Darius Adams, who's coming in next weekend, and they visited Braylon Mullins. I did a video on him. It's been within the last couple months. I'll try to find that link at the end, or I'll link the playlist for that as well with the recruiting videos on it. He's a shooting guard out of Ohio. If you'll remember, if you watched that video, it was one I was kind of trying to throw a little humor in. Looked like he was playing in a school cafeteria somewhere, but dude can shoot. He can shoot the lights out. He is a shooter. They're trying to add to this class. The thing with it, from what I've read, is with Adams, with Mullins, they're swinging for it. They're swinging for the fences, but they may be tough pulls to get out Indiana. Caleb Wilson, they've been working that one for a while. He plays for, let me get back to where I was on that as well. He plays for the, pretty sure he's one of them on the overtime elite squad. And overtime elite plays out of, I'm thinking it's Atlanta is where they play at. But Caleb Wilson, he's a 5-star small forward, 6'9", 205 out of Atlanta. He's going to be one of your top prospects for this cycle. So what can Tennessee, if they get him in that weekend? I know Tennessee had been trying, and like I said, today's the first I had seen that he has set up an official visit for that. It also says 2026 small forward Caleb Holt is also scheduled to visit. So the weekend, the 14th, it's Senak, top 5, Josiah Sanders, 3-star, Darius Adams. October 11th, they're scheduled to host Caleb Wilson, Isaiah Dennis, who's also he's listed as a point guard as well, according to Ben McKee, and then they're scheduled to host Braylon Mullins on the 19th. Now, according to what I see here as well, they visited point guard out of Utah, J.J. Mendequit, number 51 overall, number 6 point guard. Braden Burries, a 5-star guard out of San Bernardino, California. Rod Clark was out hitting the West Coast today. Tennessee is going to need, you hope Bishop Boswell takes that step. Is he the heir apparent to Sakai Ziegler, or you go have to hit the portal, or do you try to bring in a guy through the high school class? And it may be a combination of all three, because Boswell, from what I'm understanding, coming in is more of a combo guard, but could he possibly play that point? What kind of minutes does he see this year? I know I've seen where they're pretty high on him, but again, Tennessee's got up to 8 spots available. I think if you could get a class of 3 really good players and then add a few through the portal, that's pretty good. The thing of it is, if you get these top 20 guys, here's what Tennessee really needs, in my opinion, to get these kind of guys. if you're going to get them in, they need to be a high lottery pick. Dalton Connect, I'm curious. I think that's going to go further with portal guys than it will with high school guys. Kennedy Chandler come in, second round pick, and he's just bouncing around right now. He was with the Grizzlies. Last I saw, he's with the Nets in their G League team. Keon Johnson, Jaden Springer has bounced around after being a first round pick. He got a ring with the Celtics. I'm not sure where he's still at. Keon Johnson's bounced around as well. So these higher ranked guys coming in. I've talked about it in football with Nico Imaliava, with James Pierce Jr., with these guys highly ranked. They're anticipated to go high in the draft. Tennessee needs that because ultimately these higher ranked players, they're wanting to get to the pros. So if it's a Chris Senack, a Darius Adams, a Caleb Wilson, what you need is some of these freshmen to come in, live up to the hype, develop, and then they're off to the NBA draft. They're a high round pick. That's what's going to get Barnes and staff these players. And, obviously they don't have that. They can go back to Kevin Durant all they want to. Under Tennessee, though, they've not had that. They've had first round picks, but they've not had that 5-star guy come in and really kind of live up to that billing, live up to that ranking. I mean, you've seen Julian Phillips come in. He was almost non-existent at the end of his freshman year, and he was hyped up as a lottery pick, ended up going second round. So for Tennessee to get these type guys, they're going to have to develop them, and they're going to have to get them in that lottery. That's just the way it is. So there's going to be questions. I think there's going to be questions from me. How are you going to develop me? How are you going to get me to the NBA if they're going all out for these guys? But again, lots of spots available. You're going to replace majority of the production of your team after this coming season. I'm very excited about this team. I'll get more into that as we go. To me, this recruiting class is extremely important that they hit a home run in this class. I just don't think it's feasible to bring in 6 to 8 guys from the portal and expect it to work every year. I think a few, 3 to 4 like they've done this year, but I really think if you start getting into more than that, it may be a harder time to mesh these guys. We'll see how it goes, but I'll keep you updated on any other updates as they're hot on the trail. They're hot on the trail. The key is going to be, and it's going to be like it's been the last few years, they're having trouble closing with these high school classes. They had trouble last year closing with high school guys. That's why they got one guy in their class, and they used the portal for the rest, which I think it was a good move. But still, yet it was not because they were just neglecting the high school class. They've not had a good run for the last couple years on the high school. Or last year they did. Let's put it that way. I thought they did pretty good before, but a lot of guys left. So getting them in, developing them, that's going to be a big thing that recruits are going to have questions with. Keep you updated on that. It's a big weekend for this team. I'll probably have another preview for it next weekend before we get there as well. Just released, I guess within the hour, attacking the 3-3-5 against NC State. I was pretty actually happy with the work did on that. Broke down a little bit of film and kind of looked at different ways to attack that, who I thought would be vital for that as well. But more content coming as the week goes along as we get you ready for Saturday night against NC State. I will be there in person. And then if Tennessee wins that, then I'm going forward with the rebirth of the Vols series. I don't want to jinx them and release something. But I hope you have a great rest of your Wednesday. Frank Rock, this is your Everything Sports channel, the House of Orange Sports channel. I will see you when I see you, and go Vols.